Hi everyone, how are you? Welcome to Simply Nail. On this episode of Simply Nail, we're going to be talking about my dreadlocks, but most importantly, we're going to be talking about freeform dreadlocks, freeform locks. What are they and are they for you? Welcome. I was asked in my DMs about freeforming, and I thought that this would be a pretty good time to talk about freeform locks. What are freeform locks? Is that really a thing, freeforming? What is it? Is it for me? Those are some of the questions that some of you viewers have had, and I would like to address it real quick in this video. And this video is for all of you who are considering freeform locking, or for those of you who have never heard of freeform locking, or those of you who are curious as to exactly what this is. What is freeform locking? Okay, let's start at that question. What is freeform locking? What is freeform dreading? It's very, very simple. Freeform dreading is just the act of allowing your hair to do what it does, which means there is no manipulation of any kind going on with your locks. So I'm not twisting it all the time. I'm not, for some, I'm really not doing anything. I don't have any parts in my hair. I just let my hair do what it does. For some of us who are beginning or who just started freeforming can also be once you begin to, or once you have started your set of locks, you leave it alone. So let's say you part your hair and you have 60 to 100 locks in it, and now what? You just let it grow. You just let it do what it does. I started freeforming, or I started freeform, the act of freeforming, maybe about 10 years ago. I want to say 10 years, maybe about 10 or 11 years ago, I began to freeform, but I didn't know that's what it was. I just didn't feel like retwisting my hair. And I just said, I'm just going to let it do what it does. I really don't feel like doing, going through the process of retwisting my hair. I was tired. I said, I'm not doing it. And so I just stopped. I stopped retwisting my hair. I was retwisting my hair the first 10 years, maybe every 4 to 6 weeks. And I just kept retwisting. And the reason why I retwisted my hair so often was because I was in a religion where I felt I had to conform. There were already people in the organization, or in my local part of the organization, that frowned upon me for wearing dreadlocks. Number one. Number two is I felt that I needed to conform as much as dreadlocks will allow you to conform. Because if you know anything about dreadlocks is not a style of conformity. It's a style of what? Rebellion. Remember that. Rebellion. Because you're going against the norms of society by wearing a hairstyle that is traditional or traditionally worn by people of color. Okay? And if you live in Western society, you know that basically we as a people of color, we as Africans having an American experience, we want to fit in. So fitting in means that we're going to do certain things to our hair to not make it seem, or make it to make it we're going to do certain things to our hair to make it acceptable and palatable to the Caucasian persuasion. So that may mean I'm going to relax my hair. I'm going to straighten it really, really good. Or I'm going to braid my hair and slap a weave on it. Either way, I'm trying to conform to society. So deciding to wear a dreadlocks is a rebellion against everything that we as Black people have been taught to do. Okay, we don't want to be seen threatening to the establishment. We want to be accepted for our intellect, and in order for us to be accepted on so many grounds and in the society, then we have to do things almost 20 times better than the Caucasian persuasion. And that even goes to our hair. Okay, that even comes to our hair. We're trying to conform to what Western civilization wants us to be, and unfortunately that's not going to always be the case. It's not going to always be a situation where we're going to be able to conform, because we are people of African descent and African greatness, and we are the original people. So because of all of that, then you know that there's going to be somewhere or something in our DNA that's going to propel us to rebel against Western society. And so for me, that rebellion began with my hair. So with freeform locking, with the freeform method of, I should say, locking my hair or unlocking or not retwisting, what that means is that I decided that my hair didn't have to be neat. I don't care anymore about who may be offended by how I look. When someone says, well, you need to make it neat, what does that mean? What does that mean? I just grew tired of trying to conform to what someone else felt my hair should look like. I got tired of that. And so being that I grew tired of it, I stopped trying to do those things to make it look neat. I stopped buying all the gels and the waxes and the creams to stop doing that. And I just let my hair grow. I just let it do what it does. Now, as you can see, this is what freeform looks like. I haven't retwisted at all. It's just my hair. It's just growing. And as you see, there's a lot of growth in here. A lot of growth. If you can look at the top, you'll see a lot of growth. And I really do not feel the need to go in here and to put some locks or some locking gels and creams in it. I don't feel the need to do that. I like my hair just like this. It's just just like this. And I feel good about it. I feel confident. This is who I am. Now, if I need to go out somewhere or have an interview or something of that nature, then I will spritz some water on there, some rose water, and I'll use some of my my own lock gel. Well, not shouldn't say lock gel. I use my own oils and creams on my hair, lock creams that I have, and I'll be presenting that later in another video. The natural products that I use on my hair, and basically I use them because I use these products for moisture, and when I'm manipulating my hair for a style, then I like to do so when my hair is wet, and then I don't have to experience any breakage from trying to style it when it's dry. And it's just, for me, it's so much better just allowing my hair to grow in the way that it wants to grow, because what freeforming allows a person to do is they allow them to experience freedom. And the freedom is to be in a situation where I don't have to, or I'm not concerned with what you think about me. I'm only concerned with how I feel about myself. I'm concerned about my journey and my path. And that type of freedom allows my hair to do what it does naturally. So my hair can decide that it wants to grow in 2 big lumps. All right, that's fine. Or 4 big lumps. Or my hair may decide that it wants to grow into, a section of lumps, a section of locks. That's fine. That's what freeforming is. Now there are some entertainers and celebrities who are freeforming right now, and it's a beautiful thing. One of those celebrities is Jay-Z. Jay-Z's hair is his locks. That's called freeform. That means that he started his locks, and as you've seen pictures, his locks started out the way locks traditionally do, and then he began to combine them, and when he combined them, he left them alone. Freeform locks. This guy named Kodak Black, he has maybe about 4 or 5 locks. Just I think it's like 5 locks he has. And what he did probably was, he started them out with maybe 10 locks, and maybe he combined them all, and he combined them into what you see today. That's freeform locking. Right now, my hair, when I started it, I didn't start it out in a way that like Jay-Z or Kodak Black. I have about maybe 100 locks, but when I decided to freeform, I didn't combine any of my locks. I just decided to keep my locks as they were, or as they are, and I just don't do anything. Now, what I do practice is I separate them, because for me, separating is important. It's important. And the reason why it's important for me, and for the way my hair grows, and for the way my daughter's hair grows, is that just pulling them apart. And what I do is I wet them first, and then I pull them apart. And for me, it keeps our hair growing at a good pace. And being that I don't want my locks to grow together and become maybe something like Jay-Z has, or like Kodak Black, because I don't want that, then I pull my locks apart, or I separate them. And my daughter does the same. And so we separate our locks maybe once a month, or every 8 weeks at the most. But we try to make sure that we wash our hair and we separate them, so that they don't become intertwined within each other. And then that's how you really begin to have maybe your locks grow into something like Kodak Black or Jay-Z. But I see that a lot of people do not understand the methodology behind dreading your hair, because people are very critical of Jay-Z and his hairstyle. A lot of people are critical of Kodak Black. People are just really, black people in general are very critical and judgmental when it comes to locking your hair. And I should say they're judgmental when it comes to, the freeform locking, or and which is basically when you see pictures of Bob Marley, that's freeform locking. That's just, allowing your hair to do what it does. And a lot of people are judgmental and very critical about freeform locking. And I'm guessing that it has a lot to do with the fact that it is the cultural framework of Western society, and what is appropriate and inappropriate for black hair. So there's this judgment that if your hair is not fried, dyed, and laid to the side, that something's wrong with it. And when people see, when we see each other with dreadlocks, the only acceptable dreadlock styles are those that are gelled and slicked down to the end. Or sister locks, and when you see someone with sister locks, or their hair is gel, twisted, retwisted, and gelled down to the then it's acceptable. But for people who decide to wear their hair like me or my daughter or Kodak Black or Jay-Z, then that's a problem. And if you are one of those people that feel that that's a problem and that's ugly, then you have to ask yourself, where did you get that type of thinking from? What colored your perception to believe that allowing your hair to be as the kings and queens of the original people, if you feel that that is ugly, or there's something wrong with looking like your true African selves, then you have to do some real soul searching, and you have to ask yourself a question. And that question should be, why is it wrong to look as your true selves? Why is it wrong to look or display your ethnicity and be proud of it? And who told you that there is something wrong with it? Who told you that? So to wear freeform locks, and I should say to just be in the act of freeforming, is a bold type of thing. It's a bold statement, and it's a statement that you don't give a F about what other people think, especially black people. Because see, those are the Caucasian persuasion, they're not looking at you critically. They're not looking at Jay-Z like he's crazy. Because see, they already know who we are. They've already done research about who we are and what we are. Okay? They've done the research. They know who we are. They celebrate who we are. And you know how? Because they imitate it. But everyone wants to imitate the original. But if you don't know that you're the original, then you don't know what others are celebrating or what others are copying. Then you are susceptible to the brainwashing that the imitators put upon you. And that brainwashing is done so that you can ultimately turn on your own, so that you will not see the beauty of who you are and where you come from so that you can reject it. And the imitators can snatch it and call themselves discovering it and take credit for it. Because you know that's what happens, right? This is some real talk. This is real tea. I mean, just think. Africans have been cornrolling their hair for centuries. Centuries. And then in the 1970s, a white woman named Bo Derek wears her hair cornrow in a movie called 10. And then, cornrows is a thing. Cornrows is a thing, child. Go get you some. That's what happened. And then, lo and behold, 30-something years later, Kim Kardashian appears on a magazine cover with cornrows. And guess what? She decides to relabel them something else. And it becomes a thing. But guess what? Africans are the original people. We've been cornrolling our hair forever. But because we wanted so much to conform to Western civilization and Western society, because we wanted to conform and assimilate into this society and into this culture, we pushed aside our own culture. We pushed aside who we are as the original, as the originator. And someone else was able to come along and scoop it up and say, look, guess what I've discovered? I've discovered this hairstyle. And it's not called cornrows. It's called whatever she said it was. True. So all freeforming is, it's just letting your hair do what it does. It's just letting it be what it's going to be. And you don't have to manipulate it. You don't have to put, gels and waxes and things in it. It's not styled to the It's just there. Because look at my hair. This is, for me, this is freeforming. And because I go in, every 2 months or so, look at that new growth. That's a lot of growth. Because I go in after I wash my hair and I separate my locks, because they after a while they grow into each other. I just go in and I separate them. And then I just allow them to continue growing. But basically, I don't do anything to them. And to me, in my opinion, freeforming is the healthiest way to go anyway. The healthiest route. But you have to make that decision on your own about what's healthy and what's not healthy for your locks. But for me, freeforming was the healthiest way to go. And not just physically healthy, but mentally healthy and spiritually healthy. So you can't freeform being afraid of what people are going to think. You can't freeform and have misconceptions about black hair. You can't do it. And you got to have the courage of your own convictions to freeform. Can you do it? Sure you can. Sure you can. Because I am. And my 17-year-old daughter is doing it as well. So you can do it. It is possible. You just have to, like I said, have the courage of your convictions and understand that you're not the only person who has decided to do this. Freeforming is also very healthy for your hair, economical, economical, because all you're really going to be paying for is what? Some Dr. Bronner's peppermint oil soap and maybe some eucalyptus oil or some almond oil or some hemp oil or some oils, which probably only going to cost you maybe about $10 at the most. And you're going to keep your hair moisturized with some rose water. Keep it looking and smelling good. So you're not going to be paying all these outrageous prices for, to go to a loctician to have your hair retwisted with some gels that aren't good for your hair. And it's going to cause you to have a lot of buildup. So that's not going to be your story because you're going to be freeforming. You're not going to be doing all of that craziness, all that crazy stuff. You're going to be freeforming, which is going to be healthier for your wallet and healthy for you. So thank you for tuning in to Simply Nail. If you have any questions, drop down in the comments and leave me a question and I'll get to it. I'll answer it for you in another video. Please like this video, share this video, and subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much. Bye-bye. This is Nail. Happy 20th anniversary of dreadlocking for me and happy journey for you. Bye-bye.